All right, everybody. Hey, it is July 25th, 2020. It's a Saturday, and we've got disclaimers by Ed Johnston. Before we start, I do want to mention something, and it's something I keep on hearing, and it's like nails down chalkboard. It's like rubbing you the wrong way, whichever way, it gets on your nerves. Every time I hear somebody say, and this is on news medias and stuff like that, but when they say to protect our democracy, this is not the right way to our democracy is supposed to be. We don't have a fucking democracy at all here in the 48 lawful states. We have a republic. And if you do not believe me on that, go look at the organic constitution and see if you can find democracy, democratic, or even republican anywhere. I mean, I believe it says republic at least once, but I did a word search and I read as much as I could all the way through, and I never found democratic, democracy, or any of that. Anybody, in my opinion, that is saying this is a democracy is a traitor to the lawful 48 states of America. With that, Ed, why don't you take it away?
Okay, we would like to thank everybody for joining us again this week and tonight. We're going to go over some interesting conversations and topics tonight, but I want to make sure that, what the host brought up too, or the producer brought up, democracy. Now, you got all these CNN guys, and you got the Fox News now doing democracy. And if you listen to Fox News, you're a traitor. Because Fox News was sold out to the British government. You guys got to realize and do your research and realize who these corporations really are and who you think you are. Now, if you are a family that is 5 or less generations in this country, that means, what is it? You don't have a right. See, that is the one thing that people got to start comprehending, this reality of the real world and not the fantasy of your religion you're living in your mind. Trust me, I died 13 times. I've been there like you. I've been on my knees 20, 30 years ago praying, oh God, oh God, oh God. The God never showed up. I still got screwed over. So, I mean, it's like there ain't no God, so you have to educate yourself and know what the real law is, not the fantasy of your mind is. Yes, I'm harsh. I just got off the phone earlier chewing another guy out, court, and I can't read, and I have no education. I get so pissed off when I hear these morons say I have no education. Oh, I can't read, I can't learn, so I'm a stupid dumbass. But you can talk to them, and you can talk to them, they can learn, they comprehend what you're saying, they're not a moron. See, this is the one thing that people have got to start comprehending, this real world structure. Okay, right now we're going through a so-called pandemic of a coronavirus that was created, and I had the proof when I put it up. Beside that, Obama was part of that with Bill Gates, who passed the bills, and Obama was the one who funded Bill Gates for $1 billion on Crohn's disease to pass it on, put it in your vaccinations worldwide. Yes, you paid for it worldwide. See, this is the one thing that, people don't pay attention to the real world. Oh, God's going to save me. And like I say to people, who's God? What God? Why is there a God? And I'm not being rude or disrespectful in that to anybody else, because the Constitution gives me the right to believe in my religion, as the Constitution gives you the right to believe in. Now, my religion is a structure that, is amazing on what's going on. You know, I mean, it really is amazing what's really going on in this structure. You know, so I mean, it really just bothers me when people don't comprehend the real world. So you're living in a world that you have no concept of any reality of your own mind. Oh, you're going to go off of this, that, and the other thing. How come you're not paying attention to what, why, and how? See, this is the one thing that, how come you're not paying attention? That's all I got to say to you. You know, I get people all the time that come up to me about this, that, and the other thing, and I'm going to get into some of this stuff. You know, it's like the coronavirus is a stimulus package that was fucked the people. Now, originally it was set up, that was supposed to be set up for 2 years at $2,000 a month for every Native American. Read the original bill. Now, Schumer changed it, the Democratic Party changed it to any immigration or immigrant worldwide. See, that's the point. You sit there and go, oh, God's going to save me. We got to save the Queen. What morons? Fuck the Queen. Fuck the Brothers Parliament. You know, we've been fighting this war with the British government trying to take over your children's right in life. And you allow it. And I'm so disturbed when I see this, when I talk to people all the time. You know, I mean, it's like the whole thing is like people don't comprehend, you know, all these nonprofit agencies. What is that for? 5406A form. File on these people. File criminal charges. And also, too, when it comes to, and we're going to get a little bit into child support tonight. And I have a deal that I can send out to people who would like that. Send me your email. I'll make sure you get that information. But you got to remember, you're dealing with a corporation. New Hampshire, New Zealand, not New Zealand, I meant New York. New York City is not part of the United States. It's part of the Queen of England. But this is the problem. People don't do research. They don't want to learn the truth. They want somebody to hold their hand because they're still a child. And if you don't want to pay Social Security taxes, you know, you don't have to. But see, the problem is that it's your fault, your problem. Look in the mirror. You're to blame. You have a form that is 4029. Social Security form, a Medicare form. It exempts you from taxes. That exempts you from total taxes. Now, filing the proper paperwork to be Native, because Native under Title 28, 2002, the foreign corporation, and I've posted that many times, and we have that. I don't know if it's on the website yet or not. I posted the actual law for the natives. You're not to pay taxes. You have to file on it. If you don't file on it, all right, more than once, and I don't give a shit if it takes you 5 times to get a response. You know, it costs you $5 to email, or beside emailing it, send us registered certified mail. Do it. You have to have proof. If you have no proof, you have no evidence, and evidence will screw you in any courtroom. But also, too, you don't want to be comprehended in a district court. A district court is the legislative court of England. It's not American legislative courts. All right? A legislative court in American government is called an Article 3 court. You have to file for a grand jury. You, personally, have to write the case up and file for a grand jury. If you don't do it, there ain't no grand jury, and you're going to go to a domestic court, and you're going to get screwed. That's simple. You have to file. You have to personally write the deal. You have to autograph it. Never do a signature. And you have to autograph it in blood, preferably. And you always want to send those 4 copies. 4 copies. One to the State Attorney General, one to the Governor's office, one for your file, and one to the federal government. And also, too, there's a number for fraud that I'll give you here in a minute. But Social Security is a voluntary structure. All your court systems are a voluntary structure. You know, that's why I don't do, food stamps myself. I don't take any of this stuff, even though that I'm 100% disabled. I don't give a shit about, $20 or $150 of food stamps, because it ain't going to do me a damn bit of good because I give up my rights. I don't have rights when I do that. See, that's the point. You don't have rights when you do this, and when you file for yourself, you have to make sure you're recognized. If you're not recognized, your case does not exist. And that's the point that I try to explain to people. I mean, I just got off the phone yesterday with a guy on it, and we're going to try to do, we're going to have a conversation here, at the end of the conversation tonight with a couple people I probably will Zoom if you want to do, stay on the line afterwards. But this is the point that, this is the point coming down. Your names are all done at capitalization. File to own them. There is a form called the IRS form to file to own your capitalized name too. I put that up. I have to dig that up. I have it somewhere in 150 pages I have opened up here on the internet. I have to go find it and set that up because I was working on that 3 days ago, but I've been bouncing around on too many cases right now. But see, you guys got to realize the real world. And this is the point that people don't get, the term resident or citizen or national. I'm not a resident. I'm not a national. I'm not a citizen. I'm not a corporation. And see, you have to file to prove that. The 14th Amendment, people go, oh, I'm under 14th Amendment protection. No, you're not. Because the 14th Amendment only applies to lawful bloodline natives. 1866, 1890. Read the paperwork. Stop listening to these idiots on the internet. Oh, this is that and the other thing. These people who are out there doing this stuff, And if you're not familiar, read the Libra Code. Explains the law of war. And that's what you're dealing with, the law of war with vaccinations. Chemical warfare. So when they're trying to give you a vaccination, it's chemical warfare, so you got to learn how to file the paperwork. And there's paperwork on the internet. You can actually print out, autograph, never do a signature. Even for nonprofit agencies and organizations, you don't want to do an autograph. You want to do a signature for nonprofit because you don't want to be held liable under an autograph. But people are not comprehending this reality in the real world. I mean, I live in the real world. I don't live in religion and fantasy. I mean, when it comes down to it, when your woman registers that child with the state you live in, without claiming her own bloodline, you got to comprehend the man can come in afterwards, but the woman has to claim the bloodline first by administrative rules. Go read your fictitious Bible that they wrote. Everybody keeps going, the Bible's coming true. The Bible was a book that was written. And people believe in it so much, that's why it's coming true, because they believe in fantasy. They can stop it, but they don't want to stop it. Because if they stop it, oh, that's right, you have to go hunting and fishing. You can't go job. You can't live off the system. You can't live off the corporation paper system. That's, food stamps, money, and all the other stuff. And so this is the point that people are not comprehending. I mean, it's so disturbing when people are not comprehending the structure, what's going on. I just literally blew off on a guy the other day and this morning. He's telling me, I can't do this, and I need you to write it for me. I can't read and write. And you're 48 years old. How come the hell you never learned? You can talk to the man. He knows what you're talking about. He's not a mentally retarded man or corporation member. He's got the reality of the circumstances in his mind. So, I mean, and it's so disturbing when these people sit there, I can't do this. In other words, you're telling me you don't give a shit about yourself or your children and you're going to lie. I mean, what the hell am I wasting my life for on you? I mean, I don't mind helping and guiding you, but I'm not taking on your liability. Your responsibility is not my problem. I'm not going to take on your liability. And this is what I keep trying to explain to people. It's so frustrating when people don't comprehend this reality. Yes, reality. Oh, that's right. Not fictitious of a real fantasy world. Not a religious, biblical something of fantasy. And I can preach that. I died 13 times, spent 7 months hooked up on life support, 7.5 months. So when people tell me all this crap about it, Did you see God when you died? No. Never saw God once. So, I never saw God in my life. Even when I was shot in the head, never saw it. I've been through things in my life that I don't like to talk about that I've personally been through. And so the thing that gets to me is, when are people going to stop playing these games? Either you're an adult or you're not an adult. So act like an adult. So, I literally jumped off on this guy yesterday and today, and he tried to tell me I'm stupid. And I said, you just told me that you comprehended what I said to you. You comprehended on that one piece I sent to you and you read, right? And he goes, well, yeah, but I can't read. No, you just told me you lied to me because you read it. See, this is the point that you got to start coming together in your reality of your mind, of your capability, and stop being eliminated. I know what it's like. I went to school. I was dumbed down. I went to special ed classes. I was mentally retarded. They classified me. That didn't turn out. Remember, ADHD is bullshit anyways. So, it's like people got to start coming to this construction of reality. So your birth certificate is an insurance bond. We know that. Okay? And that's the other point. Like I said, I'll be posting this stuff on the talk show tonight. Officer takes an oath to a foreign country. So your mayor, your city council, any public employee, contractor, or private contractor that's paid by the corporation of we the people is a member of a foreign corporation. That's 1938 Foreign Administration Registration Act. File it. And remember, under Title 8, U.S.C. 1481, all right, it comes to the loss of nationality by native-born or nationalized citizen. Remember, this was originally written in 1866. So, and this is the point that people don't corporation the years of things that are written. And yet they comprehend the way the mental thinking at that point was done and why it was written at that point to state these things. You got to step out of these movies, of this production, and start putting that. In an oath of office of a public servant. And they have forms you can file on them, which I have done. And they're freaking out right now. Because, I've still got things going on in my local police department that I'm not backing off on. And everybody's panicking. And I've got people that have sent me numerous emails. Don't defund the police department. Quit talking about it. Well, now all of a sudden, I've been preaching on that for 10 years. I put up the instruments and documents about the fraud of the police department over the last 5 years. And now all of a sudden, actually, and even the president has talked about shutting the police departments down because they have no authority. And why don't you let people listen to Trump's real words, not these newspaper articles that are writing theories or their opinions? Opinions are like diapers, shitty diapers. You throw them away. Haven't you ever read legal opinions? A legal opinion will tell you it's the opinion of the officer of the court. That's the judge. See, people are not paying attention to the real circumstances of the real world. So the mother abandons the child when she registers the child with the state of whatever state you live in. And remember, Alaska and Hawaii, under Title 283002, is a British corporation. And if you actually are intelligent enough to go to the internet and type in Hawaii, the state flag, it's a British flag under the Queen of England. Hawaii was taken over in 1868 by the British, not Americans. See, this is the point that gets to me. Lack of intelligence, lack of education. You want to be stupid, so be stupid. But don't ask people to come around and bail you out or ask for stuff if you're not willing to do it on your own to help out. People don't have a problem helping people out. But like I said, when I sat there and argued with this guy from, Virginia this morning, it's like, dude, read it. I can't read. And you're bullshitting me. You know, it's like was it Chief Black Cloud? Nobody's heard from him in 6 weeks. So we wonder if he was picked up, set up, or anything like this. But nobody, even the people around him don't even have a clue, but they're not willing to go search it out and protect his ass. Just like people are not willing to protect your ass because you're not protecting their ass. See, this is the one thing our forefathers fought for. It only took 10%, actually it was 3.5%, that's what they call the 3%ers of this country that fought and saved this country from England. See, and this is the point that people are not comprehending facts, not fiction. Child support, is for profit of the corporation. And they bill it on, hang on a second, let me give you how this one works. This is the whole point of comprehending how these things work compared to what you think it is. And please write this number down. 27 CFR 72.11. Birth certificate is an insurance bank note. That's the law. Read their administrative rules. And the banknote is run by your state bar of your state bar association of lawyers and attorneys. And lawyers and attorneys are one and the same. Everybody keeps going, oh, a lawyer is different than an attorney. I have never met a lawyer that actually went by a constitution without flexing to the corporation of the court judges, because if we go against the judge, we're not going to have a job. So that is the ones, And then the other point you got to go by, if you're that religious, how come you're not preaching about the prosecution? And this is the point. This is the point. When you're being falsely accused, you have to file the paperwork. So I tell people, you can't wait. There's no God. God ain't going to sell you. I hate to tell you that, but that's the reality of the real world. We have information that we have on new.org and Tracker's website that, producer puts up for all of us to read. And that's the whole point, putting it up there, reading it. Comprehending what an Indian nation tribe is, or an individual Indian. Individual Indians and nations of tribes are not to pay any property, state income tax or anything. And that comes literally under 28 U.S.C. 3002 under Title 28. And I filed these paperwork, and I'm still in limbo with some of the stuff, and they keep telling me, well, this thing doesn't work that way. Why are you wasting our time? Why are you wasting their time? And I'm like, well, how come I'm still out of jail then? See, that's the one thing. Prosecution, read, if you're religious, read what prosecution means in your fictitious Bible. So anyhow, under federal FDR, Federal Franklin D. Roosevelt, 32nd President, United States, 1933, Banking Holiday Act, proclaimed Executive Order 2040. This is why your stuff is in their system. You have a birth certificate that you never claimed ownership of. And that's filing ownership, and I put those paperwork up on the internet. And you have to file the ownership, and they have ownership paperwork by the Department of, what is that called, Internal Revenue Service, that is the British government. Your state and federal and property taxes go to the British government. I have the paperwork, I've proven that. And 60% of your property tax goes to the Vatican, so 40% goes to your local government for them to party on. That comes under 27 CRF 7211. It's called the Birth Certificate Insurance Note. So I'm going to get into this part. This is the point where Trading with the Enemy Act. You got to read this stuff, folks. And this is the point. When they put in the Bankruptcy Act in 1933, the insurance fund then was $630,000 on a banknote that they put in your local bank of the state that you're born in, and it follows under the district county. And you can type in bank, district, county, and it comes up. You might be amazed when you start really comprehending. And everybody keeps going, I'm a citizen, I'm a national. Term citizen is a British slave. That is State versus Manuel 20 NC 122, term citizen. And I'll get into the national, I have that one too. And the stuff will be posted, after the show tonight. I'll take the time to post it, even though I got other cases I'm working on right now, trying to get things done, because I'm, some of the stuff I write, for people, and then that I suggest to people, it takes hours and hours of research, and nobody pays me to do this. See, I'm just a sucker, and I have a compassion for people. I mean, and because of that, that's what destroyed my last relationship. It's really disgusting when people don't care about you, they care about themselves, and so they're willing to destroy anything around you for their own actions, their own selves. That way, if I ever get blessed again, I will never have any involvement with anybody outside of my relationship. Because I will do that outside my relationship, but I'm not involved in my relationship ever again. So an inhabitant, I am not your resident. I am not a United States citizen. United States citizen is registered in Washington, D.C. Called your birth certificate. I am not a resident or an inhabitant or a franchisee of their subject of award of property of chattel, basic cattle, or submitted jurisdiction of any monarch. And I mean any monarch. That's mommy, daddy, anything when they're over 18. Or corporation of commonwealth. Everybody keeps going, Commonwealth, Commonwealth. What morons? Common law says you go under the British administrative rules. Read the Commonwealth law. Common law. But people don't read this stuff. And then they wonder why this stuff doesn't work when they go, I did this and I did that. It's like, I got to go find this. It's like this lady, I watched her being shot live on TV, on YouTube. She was being raided because they went after her. And I've talked to some people on it, but she didn't file her paperwork. She's like so many other people I've dealt with. And they don't need to do it. They know better. And every time I hear a moron tell me that they know the law and they know better and they're supposed to do this, that's the point. You gave your rights up. You said that you're the moron. You have no rights. You said that they can have the right to rape, rob, and pillage you. A person does not exist. See, and everybody keeps talking person, this person, that person. There is no person. Either you're a man, woman, or child. There is no such thing as a person. And once people start comprehending there's no exaction of a person, that's the point. This is the point. People don't get it. They just don't get it. I sit there and I explain this stuff to the general public all the time. And I say to people, read it. And then all of a sudden people call me up and they're going through this problem. I got another guy that's going through another traffic ticket. And then now he's calling me up. I'm going to court in 2 weeks. I said, did you ever file the paperwork that was suggested to you? Well, no. Then why are you wasting my life? Because I sat there and took 4 hours to put something together, did the research for you. You went through, well, actually 5, because I went through the structure of your own statute of your state, put it together, and you never filed it. You didn't pay me to do anything. You never compensated me to do anything for you. But I did it out of the kindness of my heart, and you didn't file the paperwork, and then you want to call me at the last minute panicking? See, this is what stuns me. It's like, people are telling me this one guy got shot by the cops for not wearing a face mask. And people go, oh, they didn't do that. They got videos of people being shot and assaulted for not wearing a face mask. See, this is the point, They've got this stuff. And I love how people are finally starting to post this stuff for Judge Joe on Obama. Because this was brought out years ago that Judge Joe came out and brought out the truth on Obama, and now people are getting it. And I posted all this shit out, I don't know, 5 years, 6 years ago. And it's like, why all of a sudden now you're starting to get it when you didn't give a shit before? See, that's the problem that we're living. It's called your communication, not mine, yours. Like I said, going through this stuff with a couple of these guys from Virginia going off on their structure, what's going on around them, and they're not doing this stuff, and then they want you to go bail them out, they want you to go do this, and they want you to go do that. If you don't do the paperwork, I can't assist you. Because I'm not going to put my ass in a legal liability issue for your name. You're not my mommy, you're not my daddy, you're not my relative, so I'm not protecting you. Because I have no incentive to do that. That is the point. We go through these problems that are going through, and I'm going to get over here, I got to get back to this stuff. Then I want to start reading you some other stuff. Because, see, you guys got to start comprehending the structure. And that's the point, I got people that I'm dealing in 3 states right now, Georgia, Florida, and New Mexico, dealing with child support. And it's like, I put the stuff out. We did a segment on it. Oh, God, it must have been a year and a half ago. And I put all the laws, administrative rules. And remember, when they send you stuff in the mail, everybody keeps putting, returned it to sender. When you get 2 letters, save one for evidence. Do not open it. So it's called mail fraud. And you send the other one back, with the deal of the birth certificate, insurance bond numbers, and administrative laws on it. You have to write this stuff on the thing in red ink or blood. People say, oh, black ink. Well, you don't do it in their black ink because that says you're a dead man and you're agreeing to the terms. Blue, purple, gold, silver says that you are a corporate slave under the corporate queen or king of that corporation country. There's only one ink, it's called blood, that has any authority. And I know giving a DNA sample out is a little rough for that one too, in blood. So, and you can do that and do your deal where, take a pen, do your thumbprint, or take red ink and do your thumbprint or your finger or whatever, so that way they know it's you. And I never autograph any paperwork. I never even sign any paperwork anyways. I don't do their stuff. So, but it's like the coronavirus, we're going through this. They already had this stuff done 15 years ago. They had the cure 15 years ago. It was prescribed and done. That's when they were affecting the children in Africa by, the Bill Gates Foundation. It's on the internet. Even his patents for this stuff was on the internet. And people go, oh, that doesn't mean anything. Jesus Christ, when somebody pulls a gun in your face, that doesn't mean anything then. See, and that's what you're telling yourself and the general public. When you say these things don't mean anything, you're saying if somebody pulls a gun in your face, doesn't mean anything. So this structure was covered up 15 years ago with Fauci. And his wife is the corporation owner of Bill Gates and the damn stuff. And I put that up. We have their test results. I believe we put that up on the internet by now on new.org, and trackers with their own administrative rules on this going back 15 years ago. And also, too, COVID 13, COVID virus 13, is technically a federal crime under 18 U.S.C. 178.1 is called biological agent terrorizing. All right, it's a nations of terrorist realistic statute. So this is the COVID virus that was released is a terrorist act. And if you've had it, you need to write, 18 U.S.C., the criminal charges on the hospitals, the people around you on it, Okay? And see, and then they have had this point where they're doing, right now, they're putting death certificates out. And see, they already got the funding, folks. So everybody who dies, even they had a guy that died in a car accident. And I posted that up, a motorcycle car accident, and they proved he died in the accident, but they listed his as COVID-19, that he died by that. When basically he was decapitated. But they have to do that because they get more federal funding when they close his birth certificate bond account. Okay, and that is under, I'll repeat it here again, so this way you folks comprehend to look this stuff up. Because it's your responsibility to look this stuff up. Come on, computer. Now all of a sudden it wants to start playing slow down when I'm going from page to page now. And people say, oh, you got too many windows open. It's like, folks, you don't realize your phone is monitored. Your electronics are monitored. Your satellite is monitored. Your electronic smart meter on your phone monitors how many people are in your home. Truly, it does. So this is what gets to me. It disturbs me because I get people all the time saying, oh, that can't be real, Ed. That ain't real. So 27 CFR 7211. I'm suggesting, and I'll send this stuff to you. I prove what I say. This comes under the passage of the 1970 RICO, Influence and Corruption Act. Remember, if you're influenced to go get a flu shot, hey, that's RICO. I'm on life support. I just had my other heart surgery, what was it, 2 months ago? My third heart surgery 2 months ago. And they're like, we want to give you the flu shot. And I looked at the doctor and nurse, and I said point blank to him, I said, do you want to have your nose broken, your face busted? They're going, what do you mean? So I'll break you up. You ain't going to give me no flu shot. So every time they wanted to administrate anything to me, oh, man, I had to autograph it. I had to prove it. It's like people say, well, and I said, I don't go and sign my bills. Federal law says that our bills are already paid for. It's under the Banking Act. I just told you that. So if you want to be exempted from Social Security, it's 4029 application form. And also, too, this is under religious groups, too. But you never put a religious group down. When they ask for my religious group, it's called the Constitution and the Indian Treaties. People go, you can't do that. Yes, you can. That's the law. I'm quoting the law. I'm not here to please you. I'm here to please me. It's like Farm Guardian is another group that I've known for years, and I keep telling people, oh, you got to pay this and you got to do that. But these groups out there, they just talk out of both sides of their mouth because they're nonprofit and they get funding. So they have to talk out of both sides of their mouth. And don't forget, 0894 is another form under 4029 Internal Revenue Code to eliminate yourself from Social Security withholding. See, once you're out of the Social Security structure, they cannot come after you because you're not getting from the British government. That's food stamps, public housing, transportation costs, and this is the other thing that gets to me. People keep going, oh, I got to go to the state to get a job. I never went to the state to get a job. I went and made phone calls. I went and talked to people. I found a job. You go to the state, you give up your rights. You have no rights because now you're a state corporation. See, that's the one thing you don't get. Once you give up your rights, but you have to file on your rights too. And that's the point. And this is the one thing that people don't get, an illegal person. That's what I keep bringing up, under color of native law. This is the one thing, it's like I suggest to people, read it. The mother allegedly abandons her child when it registers it as a live birth in the state. The state attorneys pick you up and assume ownership of the vessel and control your body while your straw man name remains on file. And I got people all the time that tell me, oh, yeah, stay away from the straw man name. It's in the actual law, folks. It's called a straw man name in the law. They're administrative codes. And make sure that you comprehend the difference of administrative code versus law. Law is treaties and constitution, not administrative codes. See, that's the point. People bow to administrative codes, and they bow to this thing called the religion, the Bible. And this is the Vatican Treaty of 1213. And this is religious slavery, citizenship. The Treaty of 1213 is called democratic democracy, puts you into slavery. People say, I'm a Democrat, I'm free. No, you're not. You don't pay your bills, what do? They throw your ass in jail. If you don't pay your car registration, they throw your ass in jail or take your car. See, and I mean, I filed this paperwork, and we were trying to get a group together, you know. I thought we had several hundred people at one point, but all of a sudden people started getting their court cases went on paperwork they filed, so they abandoned ship because, oh, that's right. You know, it's easier to go out on my own than it is with a group of men and women that are standing together. You know, I mean, it's like Obama. He admits he's not even an American. He was born in Hawaii, they claim. Hawaii is still owned by the Queen of England. It's the all-caps name. And that's under 1866 of the British Administrative Rules of the Civil War. I mean, this stuff goes all the way back through the Civil War. And remember, they didn't apply any of this stuff to come to light. They already had all this stuff going on prior to this. But in 1940, when the Federal Administrative Rules came in place, your birth certificate came in place. You know, so, and you got to realize your birth certificate prior to 1900 was an ownership of the parents, not ownership of the corporation after 1940. Started in 1933 with Executive Order 2440, with FDR. So, and then Medicare and Medicaid taxes, you can exempt all that stuff under Form 4029. Okay, but you got to remember, when you do this stuff, you fill these paperwork, the minute you go back, and if you decide to separate yourself, and the minute you go back, remember, they're going to nail you for everything. Everything that they think you're going to owe them. Or they think they're going to owe you. Own you. I mean, you know, it's interesting because, like I said, I was in the hospital and they kept on coming up. We want you to sign this form, man. We want authorization to give you vaccinations. I said, I ain't signing that. You know, I don't sign any paperwork. The only thing I ever do is an audit rep and red ink or blood. And that's the point that people have got to comprehend the reality of this world. All right, outside the United States, of 48 states, the world's on their own. I mean, in the United States today, we have 7 restaurants serving human cadaver meat in the restaurant. Eating human flesh is legal under FDA administrative rules. Anybody can sell their body to any other man, woman. All right, they can sell their body to be eaten, and nobody can say anything because it's protected by FDA and federal law. Because that's a food resource. So people go, oh, yeah, that's sick, that's disgusting. Yes, it is, but there are people out there who do that. I mean, look at your Pope Benedict, the 4th, 5th, 6th, and all of them, raping children, eating children. It hasn't changed. Pizzagate, PDgate, whatever you want to call whatever the gate is open now, or they call Heaven's Gate. You got to, learn what the satanic words mean and read it in the Bible. The Bible even says in the Bible, Jesus Christ is the devil and Satan is the Jesus Christ is one and the same. It says it right in the Bible. And people tell me, oh, you misinterpret it. And I put that in letters I put in out to people and I put it up publicly on the internet. Here's what it says in the Bible. Well, Ed, you're misinterpreting. I'm reading the words. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a politician to interpret it, even though I'm running for Lincoln County Commissioner right now. But as it says on my deal, I'm running for de facto. Oh, they freaked out when I sat there and registered as a Native American. Well, Ed, you can't register as a Native American. And I said, prove me wrong. Native American have authority over the British government. You're a British government employee. You work for me. Well, Ed, we know that. You don't, they don't want everybody to know that, but they know, I know, that you know, that I know, that they know. But see, this is the point of learning the words, learning lingo, learning the language. So I never claim when a cop comes up and asks me, are you a citizen? Nope. What are you? I'm a lawful bloodline native. I have ties right to the Constitution. I don't answer questions. It's a criminal offense for me to answer questions. Cops know this stuff. And then people say, oh, the cops don't know this. They're not. They go through 2 weeks of training in this stuff, how to teach you to give up your rights by their wording and conversation. They do a 2 to 3 week daily, 8 straight hours in a classroom going through how to sit there and psychologically, by wording, talk you out of your rights. It's a fact. Everybody keeps going, policy officers, rent-a-cop. That's all police officers are. Sheriff's deputies are the same thing, rent-a-cops. If the sheriff does not have a department underneath him, a corporation that he's running, then he's a sheriff of the Constitution. What was that, 1867? And that was the structure of the United States Marshals with the sheriffs for Lincoln. I ask people, read real history. That's the point. Then you go back to the sheriff structure, comes from the British government called Nottingham. What do they call the sheriffs in all the TV programs for the British government and the Civil War? From England, sheriffs. Go to England. You go back to the structure of England. All their court cases were done by the sheriffs that had to be in a courtroom like they do today. It's like I had Commissioner Hall that a sheriff cannot leave the courtroom. But like he said, the people want them to leave the courtroom. The people want to be raped, robbed, and pillaged. That's your politicians. They actually think this stuff. They believe that you want to be raped, robbed, and pillaged because you're not smart enough to be out of the system. And they say this stuff even on live TV. People don't listen to the words. Oh, that's not what they meant. And if I had $1 for every time I heard that, I'd be a billionaire. Because I hear that all the time. Or that's not what it said in the Bible, and I'm reading the quotations from the Bible itself. And then people tell me, you're misquoting that. That's why I don't believe in fictitious books. I hunt and fish. I live off the land as best I can. I haven't been able to do that for a while because I'm on a pet order by the governor. People go, oh, they don't do that. Yes, they do. But see, I'm out there. I don't sit there and do this like people say, oh, you wait for the opportunity. I want to be able to put it out in the senators and the governor's face. I'm getting ready to email the structure on the birth certificate bond and how your senators and congressmen rape and rob you. Let them go argue that one. Even talk show host Lars Larson freaks out on me. He's terrified to tell the truth when I tell the truth. Because he doesn't want people to know the truth. Because he's a television and TV talk show host. His income is based off on interest and dividends. He doesn't get a real paycheck. It's based off the birth certificate funding off of the structure that is paid by the city, county, and state. So this is the point. Come on, computer. You know, I mean, it really disturbs me when people are not getting that. You know, and it is frustrating. It is so disturbing that we're going through this so much. You know, and see, you can stop it, but you got to start filing your paperwork. You know, I mean, it's the point that when you sit there and you go after these things, that's why your birth certificate is an insurance bond. And see, I mean, I've got to go back and on my post here, which I got to do because I wanted to get into this lady before I turn the show over, and we're going to get into that. And I got to go check this lady's name. Like I said, you know, I was one of those people that was watching her live interview when she was shot, almost murdered by the cops. You know, so it is one of those things that this is the reality of what we're living. This is not a joke. And see, once people start doing this, it's like, you know, I've watched these people like the Bundys and all this stuff. Everybody keeps going, oh, God's going to save me. I used to have that fantasy myself. I never saw God. God never saved me. You know, I mean, shit, I spent 7.5 months in ICU, hooked up. Been there, done it. I've been shot in the head. I've been shot before, you know, I've been through things in life. It's not a joke. So when people don't comprehend the real world, it's so frustrating. But I wanted to get into this lady's name that I said I was going to do, and I'm trying to get people to comprehend this stuff. Oh, the other one I want to get a pat on the back for the state of Alaska. I really got to bring this up. I mean, I've been pushing for this for Alaska when I was going after and I disbanded one of the police departments years ago in Alaska. We filed the paperwork. We were successful. Alaska high schools now are teaching to shoot moose and teaching the students how to butcher moose for meat. It's called learning life skills. Life skills are not from a Bible or a book. Life skills come from feeding your family by hunting, fishing, growing food. Knowing the food or the toilet paper. We do have that on new.org and trackers where you can actually go on there and figure out where the structure is. You know, and then I'm going to, people are like, oh, these people are so rough on these immigrants. They're doing chemical warfare. You don't come into our country. We do not feed you. Get off your ass, go grow food. Go fight your government, get off your ass. We're still fighting our government and our terroristic government for the last 200 years. So we don't have time to fight your government and our government. So they're calling it, you know, and so they want me to have compassion for these immigrants, you know, and that's the one thing, you know, they don't have rights in this country. Come on, computer. See, immigrants don't have rights. You don't have a right if you're from a foreign country. I cannot come in your house and steal your food. I cannot come in your house and tell you how to live. And that's what these people want to do. Immigrants, they have no respect. They don't come to this country to pass on their generation. They don't come in and learn how to survive and to keep their families going. That's the point. You know, they don't come in and do this. They don't want to learn our country. They want to bring their country into our country. I don't want their country. I don't want their belief. I don't want their Bible. My Bible is native law called the Native Treaties and the Constitution of the British government. Your Constitution was written by British government. That way we didn't kill each other. That was a peace offering for both sides. See, I mean, if you read the foundation, even the federal Republican paperwork, you know, I mean, I just had an argument with Black Lives Matter individual the other day. Oh, I got to crash my computer so I can bring it back. My computer's all screwed up again. You know, I can't get what I'm trying to get. But, you know, people don't get, you know, it's so frustrating that you're not comprehending your rights as a Native American. Native American does not mean Indian 100%. Read your Indian treaties of 1770. See, people don't read the actual paperwork on this. They don't do research. You know, it's like Hills Colleges, and they got all these universities out there, you know, trying to teach the Constitution they're claiming. Well, remember, they're a 501c3 nonprofit. They live off of the interest of a nonprofit insurance bond because they bill you to pay for their schooling. They pay you to pay the electricity and teachers, just like they do here in our country, because they bill you to go to school. So your basic high school and all that, the corporation schools of the 1938 Education Act. So that's the whole point. We have these acts. What is an actor? What is an actress? It's an act of a school play. It's an act of a play. See, this is the point that you gotta come. What the hell? Did I lose everything? All right, hang on. My computer froze again. Oh, there it is. All right, that way it finally came up. All right, let me get over here. I want to get into this stuff because when the lady's sitting there televising how the cops are breaking in her house, and see, this is the point that I got into a conversation with a couple people on that in the last 48 hours. You know, she did this, she did that. You know, they don't have the right to do it. And like I said to them, did she file her paperwork? Did she file to own herself? Did she make it known who she was? Oh, no, she just did this, and she did it locally. No. You make it public. That's my personal business. I don't want that public. Grow up, little child. Either you're a man or a woman, and you're going to stand your ground. That's why they have a law called Stand Your Ground. See, and that is the one thing that is just bizarro because people don't stand their ground. You know? And so, and I mean, you know, it's just, you know, it's like, you know, people are saying, oh, they can't bomb these immigrants. Tear gas. They did it in Portland, Oregon. And everybody's going, the governor is so mad, and Mayor Tom Wheeler, who's a joke and a liar anyways, I've known him for 30 years. You know, he's an old con artist. He's a government agent. He's been that way all of his life. Roughly, you know, once you get to know these politicians and you've been around them enough years, you get to find out the honorable ones that are caught in the middle, and you get to find out the traitors that are still screwing each other. So, I mean, and this is the one thing that, you know, if we don't start protecting, and if you don't start filing your paperwork, you know, I mean, and that's the one thing, you know, and it's the other point is that you got to remember everything that was created under the 14th Amendment is null and void because it's a British government. We have two constitutions in the United States. One is from the British government, the corporation called the Roman Catholic Church. And remember, Roman Catholic Church are all churches. All churches are registered nonprofit. They're all registered under the British corporation. Read your administrative rules. Read your Secretary of State laws. You might be amazed what you learn. And that's the point. Anyhow, Rexton Lotus Justice is her name on FB. You know, and this is the point that is so disturbing. They went and, you know, I mean, we'll have to put that up. We got the actual videotape. I mean, I watched it live when they walked in and bombed her house and then shot her up. You know, she never filed her paperwork. She's like all these people, I'm a native, I'm this. And I said, who proves it? It's like a friend of mine would say to me, hey, you say you have a constitutional right. Who gave you the constitutional right? Prove it. Where's your proof? See, that is the one thing that people do not prove their standing. Who's standing for you? It's like when a woman gets married, she needs a man, or sometimes they do women nowadays, to stand to give the woman away. You know, so, I mean, this is the point, you know. And so what Lotus is going through You know, it amazes me because people are not paying attention. File your paperwork. Send it to the newspapers. If you got the money, pay for it in the newspapers. At least run it for at least a minimum of 72-hour constructive timing. I did mine for a month straight. Not one public employee or the governor or the Senate or anybody, Congress, who disagreed with my filings. You know, and then I'm told, you know, Ed, you know, the cops don't like you, and Ed, you know, they don't want to do this bullshit. They already tried to murder me more than once to keep my mouth shut. Cold-blooded murder. I've been there. You know, they try to poison me. That's been proven. So, I mean, and this is the point. You know, Rexton Lotus Justice, you know, that's her, you know, FB name. You know, I mean, if you know anybody around her, let them know. Help this stand up. You know, they called in a SWAT team on this woman. So when you file your paperwork, make sure it's known. The secrecy of these morons and all, like, what, Curtis Lockhorner and all this shit. You know, secret, do this and do that. No, you make it public known. You cannot be afraid of the shadow, because the shadow knows. If the shadow knows, that's where you have your problems. So, I mean, and this is the point, when you get through these things, and then let me get back over here before I jump off, and we're going to open up the floor here in a minute. But I want you to comprehend Form 4029. If you truly want to get out of the government, of your foreign corporation, because we the people are the lawful government of the 48 states. And if you talk about citizens, or if you talk about 50 states, you're not an American. Even that flag, the war flag that you fly in your front yard, that's a war flag of the British government. Oh, no, it's not. Look at your colors. Go do your flag history. There's a maritime flag, especially when it has the gold fringe. I've had that confirmed by the military itself. I've had it confirmed by a general in the military. And what did he tell me? Oh, shit, don't go in the court system, because once you walk in that courtroom, you have no rights. That was from a general in the military. They know this stuff, but that's how they make their living, off of you, off your straw man account. And that's called, what do they call that? Public trust. You know, and also, too, let me give you how you can start, besides doing that, let me get over here. I want to bring this up to you. And I don't think I should have it on this page. Hang on a minute. I want to try to help you out here to look some stuff up. How come that's not fully done there? Thought I had that completely done on that page. But I want to make sure that, you know, dog, go outside. And that's the one thing, too, that why everything's done in admiralty. And I want to hit that, and then I'll get back to tell you how to look this stuff. Admiralty is the enemy of humanity. This policy placed of, basically they call it laws, but it's administrative laws. Complete of conquest of sovereign nations through military rule and takeover. They are free inhabitants against each other while plundering everybody's economy. And we're doing that right now. And they're doing that right now. And this comes under, and this is all capital names, your driver's license, Social Security card. But you can file to own yourself through Social Security. I know I've done it myself. And I filed identity theft, so anybody who does my deal, and if they have you on these sites that are on the internet, when you type in your name and it comes up for these sites to do background checks on you, file criminal charges on them. It's called identity theft, and I've done them. That's why my name is not, you know, it's taken off a lot of stuff. And I do that at least twice a week file on somebody. You know, get my name out of your file. I'm not your corporation. I'm not your citizen. So, and I think I brought it up, U.S. versus Anthony, 24, FD, 829, 1873. 1873. The term resident or citizen of the United States distinguished from citizen of the capital. Remember, your lower C citizen is a corporation. Your upper one is supposed to be your freedom. This was done in 1873. But remember, they changed that and put everything under the structure of either or in the 1940 Administration Act. You know, and so a citizen of the United States is civilly dead. And that's how they get around this stuff, because you're dead. You file it. You didn't file to own you. The state owns you. So because you never filed to claim yourself, that's how the state gets around it. That's how they get it. You know, and it's clear the principle of law is an attorney or lawyer must represent a corporation by law. And that is under Victor Roberts, E.T. versus Robert F. Kennedy. Oh, that's right. Former John F. Kennedy, the president who was assassinated. Failed, and he didn't file his Foreign Agent Registration Statement Act. Goes directly in direction against the deal, but he was a Native American, so he didn't technically need to file it. And that's what I've got the state of Oregon freaking out. You know, I filed my paperwork, and they're like, well, you can't do that. And I said, prove me wrong. See, that is the point. You want these people to prove you wrong. And the other point is that when you go to these courts, you want to go to lawful court. And that means even if you have to file in the structure of England, of the, what do they call that, District of Columbia, and that's Section 8 of the D.C. Code. And remember, administrative laws were introduced in England by the French Queen Eleanor of Aquitaine while she was acting as regard for her son, King Richard the Lionheart. See, I mean, these movies, they actually tell you a lot of this stuff in the movies if you actually pay attention to them. And she established admiralty law in islands of Orleans when they published the rolls back in Orleans in her own land. See, I mean, you know, they published this stuff. This goes back to, you know, years and generations ago. You know, Lion King, King Richard, Lionheart. His own mother portrayed them. Of course, that's in the movies, too. See, this is the point is, you know, and don't forget the other point is Article 3, Section 2, Clause 1 of the Constitution. See, this is the one thing that's so, it's like I had an argument with a colored lady the other day on the internet. It was about 10 days ago. We went through it for about 2 hours. You know, because I'm going, Black Lives Matter is a racist organization, and they shouldn't be doing this, and they have no right speaking out because they're racist. And so we got in this big, horrendous argument over the internet over this. And so I asked her, I said, so you're a colored lady? And yeah. And so we went through this, and I said, okay, you're a colored lady, so who was the first actual president of the United States? And she goes, well, what do you mean? I said, when you go back to the Federalist Papers, before this corporation crap, who was the actual president back then? It was John, I got to remember his name, John Hanson. And you type it in, John Hanson, first black president. Everybody's going Obama, and I keep going, you guys don't even know history. You have no clue of history. And this is the point, most people don't read history. They don't have a clue of history. They don't comprehend the real world of what the real world of life is of history. And so, you know, this is the point that we're living all this crazy stuff. You know, how educated do you think you are when it comes down to it? You know, and then when it really comes down to it, are you really educated? Or you just been programmed in such a fashion you don't know the real truth? You know, I mean, I'm trying to find this. I'll come back to it. We'll open up the floor. I'll come back to this point here in a minute once I go through a few dozen emails that I've written. I don't know why it's not on the front page when I put it on my front page because sometimes things happen. I've had things disappear. You know, it's really interesting. I don't know if any of you have had this happen to you when you're writing letters or out to people. And all of a sudden, the computer starts running like molasses, and the words pop up one word at a time, 4 or 5 or 8 seconds after you wrote it in. That means you're being monitored, folks. Yes, I know. I've been monitored, too. And so, the other point, too, if you're going through this stuff where they're telling you, like in Oregon and all these people, that you can't evict somebody for not paying the rent, wrong. You can evict them. But you have to file. You cannot go to your local court because your local court covers up the crimes that they're committing. And see, you got to remember this: they're committing crimes. It's like a conflict of interest statement. When you go to court, I've asked people, and I've sent this to people: write a conflict of interest statement. And they're like, well, what? And I send them the information of how to do it. I send them the law what a judge, the clerk, and all these administrative deals have under their structure. I sent it to them. And I said, read it, learn it. It's up to you to read and learn this stuff. And they go, oh, I can't read that. I can't do that. Well, if you're not willing to learn, people can't teach you if you have a mind block. If you're not physically, mentally, emotionally retarded, proven. See, I've been there. Shit, I didn't even read and write really until I was 20 years old. So when people tell me they can't do that, they put me in special ed classes. I never went through that. I went and got a job. I went and learned how to be a mechanic. I never went through mechanic schools and all that when I first started turning wrenches. When I was 13 years old, I learned how to cook professionally. I was professionally cooking in a seafood grotto restaurant in San Rafael, California. I started out as a maintenance and cleanup guy when I was 13 and a half and 14. And then the chef walked off, and the owner panicked. And, of course, I watched the chef for 3 months, so I was able to pull in, and I did a okay job to my satisfaction. And then all of a sudden, after 3 days of doing that, the owner said, hey, you're hired. You're not maintenance anymore. So, but I want you to read and put this in your mind. GMI Utility. Okay? And I will be posting this up on the internet, and I want you to read this stuff and learn it. Stop your mind block. Type in your Social Security number in the bar when it comes up, and it'll show you how many banks in the world are trading you. How many banks are claiming that own you. I had over 107,000 people that were trading me on my birth certificate bond because I'm a corporation when they made me a corporation. And then when you die, they can still trade you for 99 years until you claim ownership of it. So that's the one thing. You have to file, and you have to file with the Secretary of State, the State Attorney General, the federal government. So that way you get off. And I guess, I'm going to have to, sit down that's going to take me about a week to really put it all together, the whole structure to how to do this stuff. And I thought I did it like 3 years ago, but, like I said, I've lost 5 computers since then. It's really frustrating when you're doing work and all of a sudden a computer just shuts down and will never restart again. That tells you that, you got somebody behind your computer. So it's GMI Utility. And please type that in on the internet. Pull it up. Learn it. It's called legal identity identification. This is your federal government controlling your life. Remember, your federal government technically is we the people, but your corporation government is the British government. Once you comprehend that, your birth certificate, all this stuff is still run by the British government. That's why what the hell is the Queen's son that just moved to Canada, and they're running that structure through Canada, and people ain't paying attention. So anyhow, let's go ahead and open up the floor.
All participants are unmuted.
So, anybody's got some thoughts? Okay. Well, Bunch versus Burnett, 376 SUP 23, Title 28, Section 1391. Section 1391. All right. Proposed bringing actions against government officials, mayor, city council, cop, dog catcher, pooper scooper. Okay. Remember, you have to file this, and this is agencies in the district court outside of D.C. and civil rights. Norton versus Norton versus Mushing, M-C-S-H-A-N-E, 14 L-E-D 2D 274. Okay, this is so that way you can sue them. Seizing your property, seizing your property, you are property. And you can type that under GMI utility, and you can type it in and go, and that is the corporation that you are founded under the British government. And people say, oh, that doesn't work anymore. It's like, you guys got to wake up. Your lawyers are run still today. Your Secretary of State, State Attorney General, your local lawyer are still run by the British government. I've had attorneys tell me, oh, that's not true, but then I nail them on it. So, and then legal identity identifier. Type in Google and type it in Wikipedia and see what that actually says about you. You might be surprised if you start really paying attention and really researching. And stop this stuff that I can't do this stuff. You know, because I mean, nobody pays me. I mean, I've had people that I've helped out start doing stuff, and they're going, oh, I'll send you money to help keep your website, and then I never see shit. All I hear is talk. You know, this website that me and the producer, we pay out of our own pocket. Nobody gives us any money. You know, I mean, I get people all the time that says, we'll send you, $100. I've never seen that $100. So, and then you wonder why, then you come back and you want that people do stuff. Well, you're not honoring your word because there's no honor by you. See, that's the point. Honor. Respect. You're used to playing that with everybody on the street, but, remember, I grew up in the streets of San Francisco. I know the street corners. Been there, done it. And then the other point, too, if you really want to know on your taxes and fraud, the Criminal Tax Manual, 22.00, false fictitious and fiduciary. That's your straw man account, your birth certificate, filed to own yourself. They have the paperwork right here to claim you. I mean, the paperwork is already on the internet. You can sit there and go out of your form, and get off of Social Security, not get off what I'm saying is you can get off Social Security by the form, and it's so simple. I'll read the form to you again. But this is a point that when it comes down to this stuff, it's up to you. Now, oh God, I hate it when my computer just automatically closes windows without me touching anything. It's really frustrating we live this life. But, you have to write your paperwork. I got, like this lady going through this where she was bombed by the cops and shot and taken into custody. And like I said, no bullshit. I went through this with people. She never filed her paperwork. All these people saying, I have these rights. Who gave you the rights? Where's your evidence? Where's your proof? So when she goes to court, she's under the Roman Catholic Church. She has no rights. And that's the other thing too. If you're religion, you file religion, you're under religious rules. You have no constitutional rights. You're not protected. And remember, the oath of office is a pro quoto contract. And your Democrats yell this out all the time, but they do this and people don't even know what the words mean. That is under Clause 2 of the Constitution, and this is Davis versus Lawyer, Security Corporation, 459 SW 2ND 65557, Tex, Civil, Application. Like I said, they have this stuff on the internet for you to do, and also, too, if you're doing that, that falls under treason. That's Title 18 U.S.C. Section 241, 242, and that's treason to the Constitution, and that's Article 3, Section 3 of your Constitution. Read our forefathers were from England who wrote the Constitution. You think they didn't comprehend this stuff? You know, and then, you know, it's like the other one, interfering with state and federal law. You know, people are going, the president using the military. He can. People are upset in Portland. Oh, he did this because they're burning statues and burning homes down and tearing this stuff up. By law, he has the right to defend and protect the country from domestic terrorists. Black Lives Matter is domestic terrorism. Because you're creating racism. How come, you know, we got to do a web page, you know, called, you know, lawful bloodline natives versus, you know, because this way, you know, if we ain't educating ourselves to the treason that's going on in this country. So, but anyhow, as everybody knows, if anybody's got time to speak up, you can always say, you know, excuse me, butt in, or say something, so you don't have to be bashful. So, anybody else would like to add anything?
What's that? What's that old girl's name? Lotus what?
Oh, hang on a second. Let me get back over here. I know I had it up. Lotus. I know she's on the internet. Come on. That's the old cat. Let me get back up. I hope that didn't shut down. Let me get it back on my Facebook page because I have it on my Facebook page. But this is the one thing that, you know, I mean, I was watching the video live that she was shooting at the time that she was even shot. This was all live on the internet at the time. Oh, God, how many windows are closing down on me? Okay, her name is REXTON, Lotus, LOTUS, Justice.
Justice, that's right.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like I heard her a time or two on Angela's show.
Yes. You know, and I've been there too, but like I said, I try to explain to people or give people the administrative rules that if you're not filing to claim you and you do this, and then you're going, you see, your mommy and daddy already filed you as a slave to the system on your birth certificate. If you never corrected your name, you never corrected your birth certificate. Rob Ryder does a hell of a wonderful video on that, including, what is that? The Freedom Law Forum does, Peyton does that, and, oh God, what is the other one? I mean, these guys these guys have got wonderful videos up there. I've been, you know, knowing these guys on phone conversations for years. We've had emails back and forth. These guys bring out a wonderful information, but like Rexton Lotus Justice, you know, and I mean, you know, it wouldn't help for people to, you know, put a hi on their Facebook page, and there'd be a guy that send her a letter in jail to let her know in the hospital that, you know, you're thinking of her. Because, I mean, shit, I've been there where the hospital, you know, the cops try to shoot me, take me down. You know, I've been beat to death. I've been having gun points pointed at my head more than once. The YouTube videos up there. So, and that's the one thing that gets to me. You know, people are not paying attention. And then you don't get this one. I always loved it. What foreigners go back to their country? We want people to go back to their country because the United States and, you know, the citizens and nationals are part of 10 square miles of the Queen of England's property in, you know, District of Columbia. And New York City is owned by the Queen of England. And we got a videotape, too, that, you know, with the mayor, Portland mayor, you know, saying how he was tear gassed, and they got videotapes of that where he wasn't tear gassed. He lied, you know. And I got videos, and I love how this, what do they call that? The Independent fact checkers now they call it on Facebook. They're a British corporation out of a school in Maryland. So they're out there, oh, we can't tell the truth, people. And don't forget, they did release the mosquitoes that are government funded and paid for that have either or beside the chips in them that they have the structure of poisoning you.
Yeah.
Reality right now today that's out there. So anybody else got any other questions?
Hey, Ed.
Yeah.
That website you were talking about, is that Golf Mike Echo Igloo, or is it Golf Mike Igloo?
I think you had the first one. Let me go back. Like I said, I had a couple pages just closed down on me. And also, too, if you do have medical issues, they cannot require you to wear a mask. I actually have the federal laws that are posted up there that you can go to. So let me get back over here. It's like just amazing how, it's amazing how your computer acts on its own nowadays.
Yeah.
And people don't get it. They really don't get it. No, it's for my protection. I even got a couple relatives that go, it's for my protection, and I'm blunt with you with my own family. What are you, a fucking moron? It's genes.
Hey, Ed.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just real quick. Anybody who's got their cell phone, there's a thing. It's I believe it's star #21 hashtag. If it doesn't turn around and just show letters or show like a text that you get, and it goes straight to like some type of voicemail saying that your carrier can't answer this call or can't process this call, they say that if it does that, you're being tapped on your cell phone. So any calls you make, they're listening to. If it does show like a text that and it doesn't ever pick up, then you're not being tapped. I checked mine, and it's definitely being tapped.
Mm-hmm.
Say that number again, please.
It's star #21 #.
Well, you're going to send it to me, and we'll get it up on the YouTube channel tonight. I'll do the research and put it all together. So repeat that for the gentleman, but still send it to me.
Okay. Again, it's star #21 #.
Got it.
Put that in that. If you put that in that sequence, and it goes straight to like a voicemail that your carrier answers and says that they cannot process the call at this time, that means you're being monitored. If it doesn't and it sends you a text, then that means you're not being monitored.
Well, we know everything's monitored, but you're saying that that's a direct, that they're like tapping the lines from the old days, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool, man.
Okay, I got, let me see, I'll do it again. Star #21 #. Call it. Call forwarding, connection problem, or invalid MMI code. Does that mean I'm not being monitored?
Correct. You're not being monitored.
No.
All right, then. I'm good. All right.
Okay. Let me bring this back. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, that's it. Go ahead and tell me about that website.
Okay, it's called GMEI. I mean, excuse me. Okay.
That's different.
GMEI Utility. And this is Global Identity Identification Utility. So when you type in your Social Security number on the blank deal where it has a circle with a spy deal on it, you type in your Social Security number, and it will come up, and it'll show you how you're being treated. You know, and you can even type in Global Market Identity Identification Identifier Utility, and that will even show you exactly, come up on the internet and Wikipedia and tell you exactly what it means and how it works. Wikipedia has it on their own sites. I mean, this is nothing new. You know, I mean, and this goes all the way back with the structure when the funding was authorized with the Peanut Man did that. Carter did that when he authorized that and put $1 billion that was not even publicly known to track people in his own country. So, and then banks and banking. You want to look up banks and banking, Title 12, read this stuff. Spend a day or two going through Title 12. Because remember, banks cannot loan money. They cannot even loan their own money by law. So when they're loaning the money and you go in and sign a draft note, they're loaning your money off of your GMI Utility Commission funding. So they're loaning your money to you. And I've proven that. We've had that. We've done that on talk shows over the last 3-4 years. You know, I don't know. This has got to be at least, over 300 episodes I've done just on this line. So
why should you have to pay it back?
Huh?
So why should you have to pay it back?
Because you're agreeing to a contract to do that. And then on my Facebook, I have the international funds, where technically you're supposed to, by international funds, you're supposed to be able to write off $5 million right off the bat. And I've got that on my Facebook site. So, I mean, and that's the point. We're not educated, but the point is they got us so divided, that they're controlling you and I. They got us so divided that we can't think properly. They got all this bullshit on the internet. I mean, look at what we're fighting right now with coronavirus. It's a fantasy. And to me, I'm going to say it the way I say it, to me it's a fantasy, the same thing as religion. Yeah. Because my religion is the Constitution and the treaties, and I go by native law. So I grew up, knowing the structure. I went to Roman Catholic Church. I was communion. I was going to be an altar boy. I had all these fantasies that I grew up like everybody else did until I started comprehending the real facts of the truth of life. And that's what I do on these talk shows. I read the administrative codes on it. And this is what pisses me off when Pelosi and all these people are taking the word God out of our Constitution, taking the word God out of our Constitution of administrative rules, changing history to benefit their Satan Adam. But see, this is the point. People don't realize and comprehend that, they're doing this and they're doing this for you. They're not doing it for you. I want people to swear on that Bible when you go to court. I want these judges to swear on that Bible. Because to me, that is the book of Satan. So if they're swearing on the book of Satan and they're supposed to be taking an oath to protect you, they're violating their own oath, and they're violating their own oath of their religious belief in their Bible. Like I said, step out of the movie, watch the production. God, I was saying that after I got in, the first cast I did when I was, 14. I started saying that back then. Everybody used to look at me, and, I had producers, and I had famous, movie stars and stuff like that back then going, we never thought about it that way. The only regret I have is giving up my Screen Actor membership way back when. But, once upon a time I had a Screen Actors card. I was going to go ahead this dream and, then that changed. But things happen in life. That's when I decided I was going to do bodyguard work. And You know, then I wanted to go into law enforcement until I realized what it was. I'm enforcing the devil's rules and regulations, as some people call it. You know, I mean, it's like today, you know, if you don't wear a mask, I mean, you know, on the internet, they got a videotape of an elderly man being shot because he didn't have a mask on. And people going, oh, Ed, that's fake news. Oh, I said, did you watch the video? Did you put it up? Oh, that doesn't matter. I mean, that's like with Lotus going through the shit. She was just shot, just what, 48 hours ago. In her own home. I mean, I'm watching a live video that they tear gas her home. She's got face masks on. And they back through her door and they start shooting her live on the internet. So this is not a joke, folks. This is what these people are doing. When a cop tells you that they're going to protect you, I want to know who they're protecting for who. You know, I mean, I sent this stuff with the fake coronavirus even to the mayor, the city council of Portland, Oregon, even my own town. You know, it was like the last time I left town to go to my, where I ended up with my other heart surgery, turned out. You know, I mean, we get pulled over by this terrorist cop, Pitcher, Aaron Pitcher. I called Rob up. I said, man, he keeps doing this, man. I'm going to have to defend myself. And he's going, well, that's threatening. And I said, no, I'm telling you what I'm doing. I don't threaten. I said, Rod, you've known me for, what, 30 years? You think I've ever threatened anybody in this county? You know, the sheriff and everybody else. I mean, I even reported when the sheriff raped a 16-year-old girl. Sheriff deputy. They were raping the girls that were in the detention for the structure of the juvenile detention hall in Lincoln County. I opened up that. They tried to murder me over that. This was publicly in the newspapers back in 1999. So what do? They ship the kids around, these girls around the state, and they change their names. So, I mean, and they do this. They change the names. They change the profile. I mean, even the other one was the Babylon Will Gaston case, if anybody knows the history on that one. I'm the guy in the courtroom. I was the one that was involved with the Senate that got the hearings for them. I mean, I put my ass on the line for a lot of things. I've been, you know, shot at, you know. I've been pulled over at gunpoint. I've been where they try to beat me to death. So when people say, you know, that this stuff doesn't happen, trust me, I'm still amazed I'm here. I died 13 times, 7.5 months on life support, and I'm still here. So, I mean, I know my purpose. You know, but it's trying to get people to stand up and unite. Because you got to remember, what does it say? The 48 states under the United States united. We're supposed to be united as one. And so when these people come up with their opinions, they're not united. The Constitution and the Indian treaties are the law of this land, not a statute, code, and administrative rule. And I just argued that with a public employee for the city of Portland, and we had an argument on that with email, and then I produced, oh, that's right, their own city administrative rule that said it was administrative rule by their own administrative rules. Of course, they won't have a convocation after that one happens. You know, because they put a bullet in their own bullshit because they couldn't argue with their own administrative rules. And that's the point, that your public employees don't read the Senate and House bills that are passed. They don't even read their own administrative rules. You know, these people think that they're gods or queens and they have these rights when they have no rights to anything. So, I mean, you know, it's disgusting that we're living today in this reality. You know, the falsification of some so-called disease. Didn't we go through, what was that, the pig virus, swine flu, and all this other shit? Well, nobody stopped the economy for that. They, you know, all these viruses that we've had over the last 100 years, nobody stopped the economy. Even when they had the plague, nobody stopped the economy for that one. But they're doing this so that, and I'm going to tell you the honest truth. See, you haven't claimed you. You haven't claimed you own you. So they're draining your accounts out on your birth certificate on the GMI, i.e. utilities. So they're draining your accounts out. That's why it's so apparent that you have to file to own you. And like I said, Rob Ryder has a wonderful video on that. Lighthouse Law Club has a wonderful video on that. You know, these people put these things out there, and so you got to do it. And yes, I know some of these people, you know, when they put some of these things out, they didn't realize some of the stuff they did at the time, and they've been threatened. I know they've been threatened. But they can't tell you, they can't tell me, but you can tell. You know, you've been around the so-called game long enough, you get to know these things. You know, you can read the actions. I mean, that's the one thing I missed growing up, because I used to go, like, downtown San Francisco, Portland, Eugene. I used to sit there and spend a whole day people watching. You know, I used to have an old friend of mine that we used to talk about things like that before the individual passed on, and we used to have bets on, you know, people, you know, what kind of job they did. So they walk by and we make a bet and they go, what kind of job do you do out of curiosity? You know, we're just curious, you know, and they tell us, and, you know, and so when you people watch, you can start paying attention to people's body language, what they're doing. You know, I mean, and there's a wonderful video that the FBI and the United States Marshals have out on identification of people's facial expressions and body languages. You know, if you've never seen them or watched them, go watch them a couple times. You might pay attention to what's going on. I mean, all this stuff has been choreographed. It's not new. They can recreate it, but it's not new. It's been around for hundreds of thousands of years. You know, like people claim that, you know, we're descendants of evolution. Well, I like to see that. They did a good movie on that. What was that? Head and Shoulders that killed the blob. So that's a tingling structure. We don't know about Head and Shoulders, and it expands in your hair. But see, it is like stepping out of the movie and watching these productions of how it do, and if you can, try not to get wrapped up into it. You know, I mean, the thing is once they broke down Lotus's door, she dropped, I mean, she had thousands of viewers. And the minute they broke her door down and shot her, 200 people dropped right off the internet right there when that happened. Because it was live on YouTube where they shot her right live. You know, it's not a movie, it's not a script. And so it's like these people that are tearing down your monuments. Well, we don't want this. Well, I want the Confederation known because the Confederation was bought and paid for by the British government. So it's knowing where, what, how. And that's the point that we're not educating the children today. If you got grandchildren, make sure they're educated. If your children are stupid, educate the grandchildren. They might teach your parents something. So anybody else got anything?
Hey, you had a great idea, Ed. Let's start Corona Church right now.
All right. So what is your recommendation for the first one?
Well, I don't know. I guess we'd have to have some kind of mission statement or something. But no, like all we gotta do is call ourselves a church, right? We'll be a 508 Corona Church.
Corona Fraud Church.
Yeah.
Because you could do it that way. You know, because even Fucci's wife, she is the co-founder and the one who runs the Coronavirus Foundation for, who's that? Bill Gates. You know, and I posted that up on my Facebook, and people are like, yeah, you can't do that. This ain't right. And I said, well, prove me wrong. Here's the bond. I mean, I even got the patents of Bill Gates. You remember, he's been poisoning the people in, what is that called, Uganda and Africa and all this stuff for years. You know, I mean, he gets praised in the media all this time for destroying stuff. So, and I do recommend that you read Title 12 of the Banking Act. And a good one is Title 1295. What is that called? State defined as a bank. It's Title 1295. emergency limitations on restrictions of businesses and members of the Federal Reserve System, and legal holidays for National Bank Association. And that's exceptions for the state defined. And that comes under, what is that called? Who did that? FDR did that on the Banking Act. So, all right, well, let's email stuff around on that, bat that around. We should have put together a group email. I think that is a wonderful idea that we do that. I got to figure that one out, and I'll see if I can ask the producer we can bounce something around so we could do a group emailing. So I just have to, or we could just have to just email once and it goes out to everybody. Because that is a good thing, and in that way, when people want to email us, they can email it and it goes to everybody in the group. So we'll have to try to figure that one out. So, and that's the one thing. Always remember, Black Law Dictionary and Bouvier. Black Law Dictionary was written as a joke. They never expected people to take it seriously. And then remember, national born citizen, we have the college professor that explains that. And remember, that follows under Section 1 of the 14th Amendment. 14th Amendment is the corporation of the king, or the king of England back then. You know, and don't forget King John, the Foreign Treaty of 1213. You know, and it's actually called the Devil's Contract when you actually do your real history and biblical in the structure of the Roman Catholic Church and all that stuff. They called that the Devil's Contract. That was back in 1213. They called it as a Devil's Contract. And remember, that was from a foreign country. That's not American. And I argue with people all the time about the structures of what they brought to our country. And they're going, and they go, well, you have to live this way. And I'm like, why would I want to live under a foreign dictator? It's like, no offense to the immigration that comes even from Mexico. You come to my country, you do it legally, lawfully. Lawfully takes 5 generations, but you're supposed to educate your children for 5 generations. Pass your assets down for 5 generations. You start setting up and start paying attention to the way our forefathers wrote our country to protect them, because remember, when they wrote the contract of the Constitution with the Indian treaties, and I have this on the website, we posted around, we have the Indian treaties up and going back to 1770, and if you don't get that one, go read the Laramie Treaty too, you know, with Crazy Horse and that stuff, you know, and it's like, it's funny as hell when you think about it, because the corporation, your elected and public employees, you know, have violated their contract for the last 200 years, violated it. So their word doesn't mean anything.
Now, Ed, you keep telling everybody to read this, read that, read this. When was the last time you read a manual on C++ and how to apply it?
That was 2 months ago when I wrote a court case for somebody.
No, I'm saying C++. It is a programming code. When was the last time you did that?
That one has been about 2 years.
Okay, and so you can write programs? How about HTML? Can you write it? Do you read all that stuff about that?
And you know that. That's why you do it.
Right. So you're saying let me get the point across. You sit here telling everybody they have to read this and that and this and that and comprehend it the way you do, whenever I can tell you go read HTML and write me up a program and I need it in 1 week. Would you be able to do that?
Yeah. Well, maybe we're going to have to sit down and do that.
No, you wouldn't be able to do that because it takes a long time to learn HTML. The thing is, you're expecting these listeners to comprehend the intricacies of their double, triple, backwards, backdoor speak that they do really quick and easily, and most of them can't. I mean, honestly, our school system, education system, for the past, 60, 80 years, has basically been dumbing...
The past 60 years.
Okay.
60 years, because when
they've been dumbing us down. So,
yeah.
you've had how long in this whole legislative thing that you've been doing, that you're talking on?
Yeah, longer than you've been doing your HMLT.
It's HTML. There's no T at the end.
Oh, okay.
But no, that's the case. See, you are speaking to kindergartners, first, second, and third graders. Some of us have forced ourselves to get higher up, so we're about at junior high. When you're sitting there and you're a freaking professor trying to teach a doctorate, no. No go. We're just learning the ABCs and 1, 2, 3s, maybe a little bit of addition and subtraction, and you're trying to teach us quantum physics.
Well, yeah, not to the other degree. I'm not trying to do something that Miller was doing, but yeah.
So, when you get frustrated that we're not getting what you're saying right off the bat, I mean, I've been with you for what, about 4 years now? A little over?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff you're talking about, I'm like, and I've been really applying myself. Right, so basically, I'm here to try to simplify. I want to say dumb down because that, I mean, most out there are either hard workers and they're constantly going to work, coming home, they got a little bit of energy to read a little bit here, a little bit there, do a slight bit of research.
I don't come home and watch TV. I don't come home and listen to the radio.
Hey, I don't
listen to a song. I might listen to it for an hour, but I don't spend more than that, probably per week, doing it.
You don't even own a TV, so what are you talking about?
Well, actually, I do own TV, but I don't have cable. Everything I do is off the satellite and internet.
See, so you don't even watch TV. I don't watch TV. I don't have a TV in my place at all. I've got computer monitors.
I watch TV on the internet. I watch movies. And there's
no,
a
see
lot
that?
of good free movies, and I watch even brand new movies. I got outlets to brand new movies.
Okay, so from this, everybody can get Ed is human. He actually does do other things than sit there in lawyer books, shoving him up his bum the whole dang time, trying to figure out how to get things done.
I know, shoving down people's throats. I know.
Yeah. So no, I'm just trying to point out, Ed. You get frustrated. Hell, I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated because for the issue that you're dealing with me, you've told me 5 different things. They may all fit together, but you haven't explained how they fit together, and you haven't explained because you're saying, "Oh yeah, you just got to keep on."
I can't explain it until you watch it. Until you start getting it put together in your mind, I can't explain it because, most, like you said, most people have been so educated and twisted until they start having their mind go off, the light goes off in their mind. You can preach it all the time, but until the light goes off, it doesn't do nothing because they're still dumbified. And it's not being negative when I say that. It's the way we've been conditioned, because I was conditioned that way until my mind opened up.
Right, but again,
so it's not. I don't know. I would like to apologize if I'm being rude or disrespectful, but it's not being rude or disrespectful. It's trying to get the fire underneath your ass to move.
Yeah, and I get that. Well, what my point was, one of the points I was going to point out is, not all of us have extra funds to be able to send for $5 certified mail over and over again 15, 20, 150 times like you do.
Neither do I. I'm on disability, but I make it happen. I go pick up bottles and cans on the street corner. I make it happen by picking up bottles and cans.
So how can you do that in a population less than 5,000?
Yeah,
I didn't hear what you better have heard. I heard something about 5,000.
How can you do that in a population of an area that's less than 5,000? Bottles and cans are actually taken.
Street all the time.
No, actually, most of the kids in clubs around here go out and grab them like crazy ahead of time.
that's true. You can't blame the kids because they're getting smart.
Now most of them are so lazy now. They're like, oh, we got a trailer over here. Just dump off your extra cans here. It's our fundraiser.
Oh no, I always loved it too. The other point is, don't worry, Mommy and Daddy are gonna buy it for me. I'm gonna stop my feet and whine because I'm gonna be a big fat bastard. So they're gonna do what I tell you because I'm whining.
Yeah, but no, it's just
that's the point.
You keep on throwing out solutions, and yes, we get that, and yes, most of us are comprehending a lot of this that you're telling. Well, actually, let's say about 1/10 of it. We're comprehending 10% of it. But the way there has been a study that says our attention span is actually lowered and our short-term memory is even lowered too, due to the aspect of so much stimulus around us, all the videos and everything like that, hyperstimulation. But okay, we comprehend 10% while you're talking. And we're really excited about it, and we write down as quick as we can because you're like, and it's sold, and yeah, basically.
Yeah, but send me an email. I'll email it to you.
I am deathly afraid of emails anymore because I've got 740 plus. I'm still trying to go through from you.
That's only 740 I sent you.
And each one I have to figure out, where does it go on the webpage? Is it going to be visually pleasing? And I got to double check to see if I already got it on the website because you send me duplicates like crazy.
Sometimes I have done that where I don't comprehend that I've done that, yes.
And
would be nice.
we had to talk proper titling of the email so I know approximately what it's about. No. You did it 5 emails and then
I
boom.
do that with the headline.
Yeah.
It's like the person and stuff like that. When I send it, it usually says it in the headline.
If the headline's big enough, you'll put the first paragraph in a headline. Yes, guys, this is the kind of stuff that Ed and I deal with on a regular basis with each other. The thing,
but, I don't know if I'm going to be here tomorrow. I keep dying, and I'm on life support. I live on nitroglycerin, so I gotta keep going. I can't look back because if I don't get it out, what's gonna happen?
Oh, I get that.
That's why I suggest, go back and watch the videos. When I put this stuff up on the YouTube channel, go read the information I'm putting up.
I get that, and that's why I'm trying to help as much as I can while you're still kicking. And
I get you.
But guys, honestly, we're doing our best here. And I know everybody's got they're all in economical distress, let's put it that way, due to the
COVID crap.
the piss poor beer from Mexico virus.
I thought that was funny. A beer called Corona, and all of a sudden we're going through. And did you see the post that I put up that this was already done 15 years ago?
If it's on FedBook, no.
I thought I emailed it to you.
It's kind of funny. You got the Corona beer, and as soon as the wall is almost completed, we get the coronavirus. Wonder if China and Mexico has been working together.
I would almost say that because what is that? Mexico or China put in administrative rules in Canada, and people are not paying attention to that one either. Because basically was bought by China through the British Parliament.
Oh yeah. No, my wife just let me know there's a run on the Lysol right now, and quite a few of the Lysol products have COVID in it.
Yeah, actually it was in Lysol disinfectant. If you actually read the original, and I don't know if it's still on it, but the original structure of Lysol disinfectant is coronavirus.
Oh, and one other thing, since we were talking beer, I know a lot of you guys out there are probably beer drinkers. I can't stand this stuff myself, but if you drink Bud Light, I hope you enjoyed the piss water, because one of the employees that's been there for decades have came out and admitted finally that quite a few of his workers have been pissing in the vats regularly.
For 20 years.
For 20 years.
Go ahead. Somebody else was trying to say
Go
something.
ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just laughing, but my brother said he was waiting to get the virus until tick season so he could have Corona with Lyme.
Actually, there was a picture, I think I posted up, that actually said that. Was a picture with Corona and then the text, and it actually said that Corona and Lyme. That's a good one, and when I saw that, I was shocked. I thought that was good, whoever put that up originally.
So what I'm trying to say in the end is basically this mainly to the listeners. Ed is a freaking brainiac when it comes to this stuff. He is a machine when it comes to, okay, I gotta go search this law out. Okay, I'll get sidetracked over here, but then go back over here, and he's got laws. He knows a lot of statutes, a lot of codes. He knows a lot of ways around things. He knows how to basically use their words against him. He knows how to research it like crazy. He's a machine. Us living men that don't have a Toyota heart, like Ed here, or a Mitsubishi heart, or whatever basically a tin heart, we actually have to work at getting there. But the thing is, us living men and women, we can do it, because I've had some issues with seizures in the past. It actually took away a lot of my concentration abilities, and I'm slowly getting them back, but I'm able to comprehend a lot of stuff. In fact, I've already put my affidavit out there, which Ed assured me when I did it for the second or third time that it was going to be valid. And I hope he still says it is valid, because if not, I've been wasting years. Ed?
No, we got to put some other stuff in it. I suggested to you other ways that we got to do it, and you got to do it certified. Because if it ain't certified, you can do emails, but emails was only what they call legally done by William Jefferson Clinton. Prior to that, emails were not even accepted, but the emails are dead man's paperwork.
Okay.
You gotta remember, emails are not real paperwork. It's still dead man's paperwork. That's why you do both. That way you have an email. That's why I post everything on Facebook, because by law, the court records came out and said Facebook is to be used in a court of law. So whatever you put on Facebook is a recorded record. And so you save that information. Go ahead.
Well, that's only if Mark Zuckerberg is not deleting your posts because he doesn't want anybody else to know about that stuff.
Right, but that's why you want to copy it and save it too, and you can't do that.
Right. So, yeah, we'll work on another affidavit, and hopefully this will be my last affidavit, because I want to be done with this, and I want to basically... Now, what about those of us who have not got our own home like you do? What of us that is basically don't have any fallback? How can we get out of the
How can we successfully transfer?
get out of the food stamps and the assisted living stuff, whenever that's the only thing keeping a food in our stomach, and because there's no way I can go out there and go hunting right now. I have no soil to go to build my own dwelling or shelter.
No, and also too, well, it's like the federal law says that there's no such thing as homelessness.
Right, but I've got my kids to worry about. I'm not going to put them out there in the woods in the middle of winter.
Yeah, I know that's a rough one.
So, assisted living and food stamps are the only thing I'm able to do at this moment. You say,
Right, but don't forget, every time you do that contract, you write on it, you don't give up your rights, then you file a certified letter after you got your stuff, you got your paperwork that says you've been approved, then you file certified paperwork as the lawful man claiming you. So then that way, once you do that, they get fucked, because I know, I was there.
all right, we're gonna have to do a show explaining how to do that.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, Ed, if you kick the bucket before I do, I might actually just continue on this as long as I can before I disappear into the woods with my bloodline. So that means.
You, but make sure you know how to hunt, fish, and.
Oh, I'm already
weapons.
teaching them that as much as I can. So
That's the one thing that people's got to train their kids to comprehend. The biggest point: how to skin, how to gut fish, how to go live off the land, how to be able to bruise this stuff. It's like the state of Oregon has sat there and said, "Oh, you can't go clamming, you can't do this." I mean, I've been there where I've been fishing when they closed the Oregon Coast fisheries down, and I told them to, shove it up their ass.
Oh, speaking of fishing, when you get a fish on the line, you pull it up, you gut it quickly right there and then, because if you don't, the oils in the fish will actually permeate through the meat and make it really, really strong. Unless you really like that fishy taste, then you might as well be eating the skin and scales and everything afterwards too, because that'll actually have less of the fishy taste in it.
Yep.
I mean, it's just a bit of advice there. Oh, and never, ever, when you're dressing down a deer, or an elk, or a moose, or a pig, never, ever cut straight down all the way from throat to all the way down to rectum, because when you cut the rectum, it'll actually spoil the meat. What you want to do is go around the rectum area to pull that out, so that basically you don't spoil the meat and you still got nice pure meat. And anybody who is thinking about survival wise, I found for like $20 on eBay a very small meat grinder. They're actually pretty easy. It's mainly
Manual, not electric.
it's a manual, not electric, and we've been using it. It works great. We make our own cat food, fish, chicken. We grind it up in there, and the cats enjoys it like crazy. But I mean, you got to prepare ahead of time. And the thing is, when the real big issue happens and you guys got to run out into the woods, to live and survive, it's possible you're not going to be able to get those things and take them all out there. So you got to figure out other ways once you're out there how to get that done.
Oh, don't forget about tanning hide, learning how to tan.
Oh, tanning hide. Yeah, learning how to tan
Drying food.
hide is really good.
Yeah.
The brain is really good for making a nice, soft hide.
Oh yeah, they're gonna use that. Excuse me, every part of the body, and that's the one thing people don't realize. I mean, and that's the one thing, most people use the brain of the animals for tanning.
Yep. And the hooves for glue, the tendons for bow strings. And there's a lot of stuff you can do. Or the sinew for bowstrings. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you can use. Heck, even the bones themselves, you grind them up, and you can actually make bone meal for your garden, or you can grind them up and actually make a low-grade glue from that. There's lots of ways to use every part. And yeah, I know it may sound kind of gross to eat the tongue, but if you cook it properly, that tongue tastes great.
Yeah, well, it's like I got sick of tongue growing up, and then I got sick of fright.
You got sick of tongue growing up, and yet you still are using your tongue like crazy.
Yeah, but that's my tongue. That's not somebody else's.
Well, what if we're sick of your tongue too?
Well, then you don't have to listen.
That's right, guys. Listening to this is an option, is a choice, is a decision you have made. And if you want to be free, as I have it on the what is it? The warning thing. Yeah, the warning thing's actually really funny. Warning.
Well,
Listening.
Yeah.
Listening to disclaimers by Ed might open awareness of law, might make you realize you're a slave, and might upset your sensibilities. Side effects may include headache from all the information, nausea from realizing you've been duped, temporary blindness from the light bulb turning on, irresistible urge to research family tree, urge to research organic constitution, urge to file your rights in an affidavit. If you receive any of these symptoms, immediately nut up and file or shut up. Keep listening to Ed to grow thicker skin and become free.
Also, too, file your paperwork. Like the one thing like I'm bringing up tonight is Form 4029, the IRS form, so you don't pay taxes. See, when you pay state and federal income tax, it goes to the British government. Your city, county, state is run by the British government. It's called a municipality. Type in British municipality under Section 8 of the, what is that called? The DC Code. You're running under the DC Code. And that's the point. People are not, they won't tell you that because all these people are making a living off it because they couldn't get a real job. I mean, most people don't know how to carpet. Most people don't know how to use a hammer and nail. Most people don't know how to do a turn a wrench. Most people don't know what mechanics are. You know, and that is the point that once you start comprehending how your corporation works, that you yourself works in the system, their created system. It's like people tell me all the time, they own you. You can't own yourself. Let me tell you, when I file my paperwork, I don't fill out and do this paperwork. A lot of stuff that everybody else does, they don't do it. You know? And I've been told, don't you come in this business. Don't you do that. Don't you, you know. And it's like, no problem. I'm not arguing with you. But that's the point, is it's not an argument. It's not tit for tat. It's called education and how you're going to survive. And that is the point, knowing how you're going to survive. And it's like when, like, you know, even with the structure, if you're going through child support structure, you have to file on the clerk. You have to file the criminal charges on the judge. You have to file the criminal charges on the bailiff. You have to file the criminal charges on the lawyer that's representing your straw man accounts. Because like I said, I'm not a resident. I'm not an inhabitant. I'm not a franchisee. I'm not a ward of your property, of your court system. I'm not chattel. I'm not cattle. I'm not you're not the monarch over me. Municipalities can be sued. Governments can be sued. We have that on the website. You can even type in how to sue a judge, how to sue a cop. It's on the websites. It's on the internet. And there's a lot of other people that's bringing it up beside us on the internet, on talk shows. People are waking up. That's why people are panicking with Trump of what's going on, because most people are not aware that Trump signed in 2000, last year, 2019, signed the United States Incorporation back to the native Indians. Read it, learn it, type it up. People don't sit there when this guy is out there doing this stuff, and I don't support it. People go, you're a Trump supporter. I don't support any politician. I mean, even though I'm running for office, I don't support it. But I filed as a corporation member. And that's the point you need to do. And then if you know about the British Council that I've been putting out, and if you want to know how to file on that, their tax identification number is 176540548. See, it's learning how the circumstances of the administrative works, not what you think. You know, it's like people keep telling me, if there's a God, then why the hell are we going through this living hell? You know, people say, oh, you got to go through tests. Well, shit, we've already been through 1,000 years of tests. You know, God is supposed to return. You know, when is he supposed to return? Oh, we have to be patient and suffer. How many other people have to die and die of misery? How many people have to be suffering and dying in jail, tortured by these public employees, tortured by, what do they call it? Paper terrorism? And when you get mail in the mail that you're getting from the court system, that's called paper terrorism. You can charge them under it. But you want to, before you even file in your own district court, and you never file in a local district court, city, county, you can file in the state, but you also, too, have to file in the federal government. See? And that's the point. I got to write that up. We're going to have to do a couple segments on how to own yourself and stuff. We're going to have to really do that. That's a good idea. I've got that from a few other people. So if other people got some ideas, you got to send it to me in email. We'll dial it around. We'll put it up. We'll do some segments on it coming up. So anyhow, with that, anybody else like to bring anything in?
Hey, Ed?
Yeah.
Yeah, seen the video where Bill Gates was talking about how they've been testing this new vaccine thing, and how they're going to turn around and just put it into your child and shoot it up their arm. I don't know how true this is. It's just right now it's hearsay, but it sounds like it could happen. It sounds like a great idea for them to go that route.
It's set up to happen next year.
Supposedly it's going to happen this year, possibly around October or November, or even December. But supposedly what they're going to do is have a false test positive in the schools, lock it down, and then have the children transported from the schools to a camp, and then turn around.
They're going to send them to an immunization camp to be immunized. They're not supposed to tell their parents or call their parents. Their cell phones and communications will be taken away from them at school. Yes, I'm aware of the memorandum that came up on it.
Oh, okay.
And I'm trying to find it again because I had it sent to me from a congressional member that sent it to me, what they were going to do, and the note says, "What the fuck, do something." That's what the message said to me. And people got to wake up. They're going to do this whether you like it or not. That's why you make sure that you file in the school, that you put an affidavit in, that you hold the teachers liable, the principal liable. See, this is the point. You've got to file this in to hold these people liable.
The school board, too.
Say that again?
Make sure you put the affidavit that you'll hold the school board liable, too.
Right, and don't forget about putting their names and their history of their family. You're holding their children assets liable.
All right, let's wrap this up.
People don't get that. You hold their children liable. Go ahead.
I was just saying, all right, let's wrap this up. It's already been a little over 2 hours.
Yeah, no problem. So, before we wrap it up, anybody else like to throw something else in before we call it an evening? Okay, with that, we'll like to thank everybody for joining us. Please do your research. We'll get stuff out to you. Go on the Facebook page. We're getting stuff put up on all of the 5 book pages because I have Elect Edward Johnston, Lincoln County Commissioner. We have New Oregon Trackers. We have Recall Cape Brown. We have the Civil War of 1866. The dates are very apparent when you read this stuff. You know, and that is the point in the United States for America Elected and Public Employees Oversight Committees. So with that, we appreciate your time. We appreciate you listening. And please, if you go to the website, New.Oregon Trackers, you hit the emails, we'll send you the information. You want the stuff on the birth certificate and the GMIE utility stuff, how it works. We'll send it to you. It's already on the website. You can even type that in on the internet. It'll come up. When you get it, save it. I heard a rumor that they're starting to talk about charging $5 a month to join it. I have not seen that yet. I got to double check that. And if they do, I will definitely, do that, and then we'll open up through the back door on it. Because, these people, we already paid for it. It's already bought and paid for. It's called prepaid. That's called public trust. When you get kidnapped and held for ransom, how do you think they bill you and pay for jail time? Called public trust. So with that, we'd like to thank everybody for joining us. May the Creator bless you. Look over your families. And most of all, without mother and father, we don't have children, we have no food, we have no future.
All right. Thank you for listening to show. 151 out of 175 today, Ed.
Did I get that much?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God. Okay.
Okay, 152. Anyways, I noticed that you do that when either you're really tired or you're trying to. It's like what some people will say as or as one that is on here on a regular basis. It's a way to basically keep talking but not really say anything. So effectively, is lawyer speak for, give me time, I got to figure this out. But thank you for listening to Disclaimers by Ed Johnston. Today is July 25th, 2020. It is a Saturday, and hopefully we'll see you again next week. But again, if you honestly think we're in a democracy, you're a moron. Go read the Organic Constitution and I prove me wrong. Seriously, prove me wrong. I want to get a at the bottom in the comments section on these videos where it actually states democracy in the Constitution, the Organic Constitution. Because I'd rather be proven wrong and be like, okay, then I don't have the case I'm building up to put all of these Democratic Party leaders as traitors by doing the democracy thing, because democracy is against a republic. The difference I know about the main simple dumbed down version of democracy versus a republic is democracy is the mob rules. Eventually things will shift back and forth. That's usually how socialism and communism happens. It's because eventually the majority rules until the majority has nothing, and the very select few have everything. Now, republic is the majority rules with the individual rights protected by a constitution, which is what America was built on. So with that, guys, prove me wrong. We'll see you next week.